Hello, my name is Sean. One of the fondest memories I have of my childhood is going to the library to check out the Guinness Book of World Records, and I was always amazed at what humans could do. One of my dreams was actually to have my name cemented in this book, have a world record of sorts. But I knew that it would be very hard to do unless I dedicated way too much time to it. Given my short attention span, I think it would be very, very hard to get done. And recently I thought, well, maybe it's not really about having my name in that particular book, but rather just holding some sort of world record. It would be fun to have like a plaque with my name, for example, because I don't have many awards. Like, they don't give out awards that often for people who do, work like I do. So for a long time, I didn't really bother thinking too much about that. Someday something might happen that I actually might get some sort of plaque or recognition, just for the fun of it, really, just for myself, essentially. But hey, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it's fine. This is my confession. I like playing simulation games. I like games like, flight simulators or driving simulators. And I guess it's because it kind of helps my ADHD. It reduces my overthinking and it kind of just brings me pleasure. A lot of people don't consider those real games because there's not much excitement going on, not much to do over there. But for me, it does kind of work because when I play games, I don't want to get frustrated and angry about stuff. I want to kind of not have to get stressed out about stuff.
Are you window-licking numpty?
For me, games are like a pastime. And I know a lot of people would say like, oh,
these simulation games are just a waste of time. Why are you wasting time? Oh, why would you spend time in traffic? When you do that on your day-to-day commutes and stuff.
To which my answer would be, who the hell made you gatekeeper of games? I play games for myself, for fun. I don't like to be competitive in these games. I just like to have something to do to relax. And these games, they usually give me enough relaxation time so I can focus on other things in my life. More important things than games. Not saying that games aren't important, but, for me particularly, not so much. I mean, just look at the list of games that I've played. Look how long I spend on some actual, action games versus how much I spend on a simulation game. I mean, apart from that one, just ignore. So I've been a lot into flight simulator games, more precisely X-Plane. I even bought myself the joystick with the speed things and everything. And, it's fun. Like, I spend a lot of time just kind of playing around with the idea of flying and just learning how to fly, essentially. And these games are quite accurate in terms of compared to their real-world equivalents of actually flying a plane. So it gave me kind of a different perspective to flying. Being a nervous flyer myself, it kind of helped me get over a bit of my fear because now I understand better how planes are able to stay in the sky, essentially. But one of the more recent ones was this Euro Truck Simulator 2. Well, some people might call it dull. I think it is just relaxing to, drive around, especially given the current climate in which you're stuck at home and can't go out at all. So it is kind of a way to, explore the world a little bit without having to leave. I got so into the game that I actually bought a wheel and pedals to be able to play better. Recently I saw this video by Curtis Connor on how he achieved the speed running world record for a golf game. And I thought, what, maybe I could actually marry my love or my current interest for Euro Truck Simulator and maybe become a world record holder in that game. So I checked out speedrun.com and there is actually an entry for this game. There's several different categories. There's speedruns from city to city, certain challenges, visiting all capital cities in one go. And then I found this one, which is from city to city without AI, so without other cars on the road. And this particular one from Edinburgh to London kind of caught my attention because I could see that it was like a short drive, around 11 minutes or so, which is good for my difficulty of staying engaged for long periods of time. And I knew that I would have to do that route several times, so having a short route would actually make it easier for me to be able to focus on it. And no AI also just makes the whole process a bit faster. There's no, getting annoyed by other cars just kind of getting in your way and stuff like that. Plus, there's only 2 world records in this game and in this category, so it shouldn't be that hard to beat, right? Well, so I thought. Alright, so this is my very first run that I did. Now, I have to explain that although I have the camera on, I didn't pick up the audio properly, so that's why I'm kind of narrating over it. Plus, I kind of want to make it a bit faster because it took quite a while. Initially what I did was try to set all the waypoints so I knew exactly where to go. And as you may notice, I'm actually getting the ferry, so I'm not going to be driving all the way from Edinburgh to London. I'm actually going to take the ferry because it cuts a lot of time. So after filling up the petrol, I start my run. I'm just going to cut to the very end of here because it was kind of uneventful. I managed to do everything quite accurately. And I arrived there in 15 minutes, 11 seconds, and 24 milliseconds. Which is not good, but, at least it's something. So I know what time I have to beat. So to get some tips, I decided to check out the previous world record winners and see what they did different. Took my notes, then also went into the settings of the game to try to figure out what else I could change to make my run faster. I didn't know how far I could go within the game, like change the configurations, but it seems like some basic configuration is fine as long as you don't use any actual modifications to the original game. Which, fair enough. And I couldn't download, for example, a faster truck because that would be considered cheating in the speedrun. So I went back to the game and I started changing some settings on the trucks themselves to see what is the kind of best speed for a truck and, if it's going to wobble around too much. And after applying some configurations, I would do a test run and I would probably crash. I go back, change a few more settings for the truck, do another test run, and crash. Go back, change more settings to the truck, and what would you know? But eventually I beat my initial time, which was good, but still not close enough. So one thing I found out is that previous versions of this game actually have a different physics to it. So the game was launched, and with the updates that they had, eventually they came to one point where they made a massive updates towards the physics of how trucks react, So if you do a sharp curve with a heavy load, for example, the truck is more likely to flip over because of gravity and, what's it called? Newton's law, I guess? I can't remember anyway. But yeah, essentially it became more physically accurate. And that's when I realized that the previous runners actually used a previous version of the game to do these runs. So that means they had the old physics activated. So for me to do the same, I'd actually have to install the game again or downgrade it and pretty much start a new career to the point where I could buy the truck that I need and everything else. And that would take quite a while to do. And that is kind of annoying because I don't want to do all of that. It's just a lot of hard work for something that's supposed to, not take up too much of my day. My only solution is really to just keep on trying with this particular version and just find slightly different things I can do each time. So I tried playing with more settings to see what else I could change to make the truck go faster. Change the settings for graphics to reduce them, see maybe if it helps in any way to go a bit faster, or at least reduce the loading times. But I still kept crashing quite often. And sure, eventually I would slowly make progress and advance a bit more and make some better time, but just cracking that 12-minute barrier was just so frustratingly difficult to do. And even with all of these changes, it's just kind of, I don't know if I can get there, I'm not sure if it's gonna be feasible to hit this goal. I mean, I'm getting close to the time from other people, but it's still not good enough. I fail way too much all the time. It's just, especially, it's just, it's so annoying. It's so frustrating. And for a game that was supposed to not be frustrating for me to be pleasant, it has become very annoying. Like, I will end a run and just be like, crashing multiple times and just be like, I can't do this anymore. I just give up for the day. It's just weird because it's a game that's so peaceful and calm, and now I'm suddenly getting stressed out over this stuff. So it might be time to just call it quits, because maybe speedrunning is not for me. Maybe this whole thing is just not for me, I guess. It sucks. I really wanted to, do that. So I don't know what the answer is. I might try a bit more. Tune things here and there. And yeah. But it's not looking up. It's not great. We'll see. Just screw that. That's I'm not gonna give up that easily. No. So, pop filter on there. Jesus Christ. Yeah. I'm always giving up on my ideas. So, fuck it. I'm gonna actually sit down, buckle up, and just keep on practicing. Find other ways to get stuff done, and just I have to do this. I have to. I keep giving up all the time. It's not. No. I'm not going to be defeated by this fucking game. I'm not. So I realized one thing. In all the speedruns, in this category at least, the winner is not calculated by the total time that it takes to go from point A to point B. It's calculated the total time minus the time for loading screens. Because each system, each computer is different, the loading times may vary from one computer to another. So to avoid people, packing their computer just so it loads faster, the mods, they decide to not count the time in which the game is loading. So loading time is when you decide to teleport somewhere and your screen goes black, it loads, and then the screen comes back on again and you can start driving. So that time is not counted towards your record, which makes sense come to think of it. It also means that I don't actually have to beat the exact same time of the first place winner. I just have to beat the time without the loading screens. So by my calculations, I need to clock in at below 11 minutes and 37 seconds. There's a time for me to beat to reach the world record. Now, ideally, I'll be doing it in way less than 11:37, because that means I will definitely guarantee a first place. And this is all based on the average total amount of loading time, which is around 37 seconds on my system. Alright, so with that in mind, I can actually get back to trying to win this goddamn thing. And sure, there were some mistakes still to be made, like this one, which I just found it hilarious because it just caught me completely by surprise. And then there's this run, which I thought I broke the 12-minute barrier for the first time. But then I realized that I teleported too early. And instead of ending in London, I ended up in Felixstowe. But I have to try again. Just one more time. Just one more time. And several hours later, I was down to 11 minutes and 26 seconds, and I just wanted to gain one measly, simple second to call it a success. Just one more second. And then this happened. I could not believe it. I made it. 11 minutes, 25 seconds, 20 milliseconds, including load time. That meant that even if load time was exaggerated, I'd still comfortably be in first place. After all this time, I finally would get my world record. My name would be cemented forever in the halls of speedrun.com until someone removes me from first place, of course. Now with that done, I just had to submit the proof to the mods and get verified in a week or so. Okay, maybe a bit longer than that. And then 4 weeks later, a pleasant surprise. Finally, my trophy arrived. First place, Edinburgh to London. That is really cool. I am so happy about this. It took way too long. Anyway, there it is. Finally beat it. I mean, apart from it being very difficult, it was quite a lot of fun to do. I did enjoy myself, despite it stressing me out quite a lot and taking way much longer than I thought it would take. Gave me a newfound respect towards people who actually do speedrunning. I definitely will be playing this game again, but not trying to beat any more records. Anyway, thank you for joining me on this journey. I hope you had as much fun as I did. Make sure to like and subscribe so you can follow me up with my next adventures, which I have quite a few interesting ones planned. My name is Sean, and bye for now. Shut up, bird.